ready for the bass. My DJ, yo, get on the case.
Alright, today is the 8th of December, and pretty much today we decided to make our doner burger
with chicken.
Our doner burger recipe with chicken this time instead of beef. Chicken. Yes, it was indeed chicken back then. We also did some written work today, such as the storyboard plan, the basic like outline kind of thing for what our movie could be like. We came up with some pretty good ideas. Yeah, and we did some other stuff. So pretty much our doner burger today, we decided to use an oven that I had, which had a rotating spit. Pretty much this rotating spit made our burger machine, our burger like making process a lot more authentic. Slowly the outside of the meat got cooked, and then we cut that off, and then the inner parts got cooked, and we continued doing that. So pretty much what we did this time is we made the same marinade as last time. Now this is, I think, the biggest issue that we had this time. I made the marinade this time, and I followed the exact same recipe with the exact same amount of salt. But I don't know why, but it just went completely salty. It was really disastrous, salty-wise. I mean, we sort of took the sauce off afterwards when we actually made the doner burger things, and then it actually tasted really good. But the sauce was definitely too salty, so next time we're gonna use less than half the amount we had this time. It was disastrous. I don't know even how that went wrong, because we used the same recipe, but...
Okay, so basically, again, we followed the same routine as last time, so we put it into marinade, and then we stuck it on the this pole, which we later put in the oven. We, after each layer was done, we just cut a bit off, which we didn't do last time. So this time, the inside wasn't raw and the outside was burnt, but it was all cooked well. And yeah, as Mark said, our only problem was that it was a bit, that it was way too salty and also a bit too spicy, I feel. And yeah.
Yeah, so,
yeah. I think probably we haven't decided yet whether we're going to, in our final doner burger, use chicken or beef.
I think, though, that chicken, well, I personally think, like, this is just my opinion, that the chicken was better because it was sort of softer and we could make it more juicy. And it could just come down to the cooking technique. I mean, this is in no way, like, scientifically conclusive, because the control, which would be cooking method, is not consistent. But I did feel that the chicken was better, and we definitely should cut down on the marinade, or at least the salt in it, because it detracted from the chicken taste. But chicken is naturally a little bit less flavorful than beef. I don't know, like, beef just has a more intense taste. So maybe our burgers should have beef or something, I don't know. But what's your opinion on beef or chicken?
I don't know. I think that we slightly screwed up the beef because we didn't have a good method yet. So, as I already said, the outside was burned, the inside was raw, and there was only a small segment of the meat which was actually
usable
and edible. Well, not edible, but it tasted good. And yeah, with the chicken, we, as I said, we cut a layer like every 15 minutes or something. So yeah, it was all, it wasn't raw, neither was it burnt, so it was well done. And yeah, I'm not sure which one tastes better. We'd probably have to try the beef
with our
method, which we used in for the chicken, and then compare them and decide which one is better, if we like the chicken or the beef more. We might also get some more testers, or we'll probably, and ask them whether or not whether they like the chicken or the beef more.
This time we had like my sister and my mom test it, but they both agreed that it was just far too salty, and you could barely taste the chicken with the samples we gave them, so we had to like wash it off almost. Well, yeah, we did sort of wash it off, and then it tasted, well, quite good actually. So it's really hard to decide chicken or beef, but I think chicken is easier to cook and it's cheaper, and therefore it's better overall. So I mean, it was quite easy to handle. It was easier to cut as well. It looked, well, I guess it even looked better because the beef, after it like got cooked, the color with the sauce wasn't very appealing. Yet the chicken still had a relatively appealing color. And just in general, the chicken has some better properties. Like, yeah, that's easier to cut. So I'd say I prefer the chicken. Yeah, so we also tried to do some of the techniques, the minor, well, we didn't do it properly, from the videos that I researched on how picture-perfect kebab burgers are made, well, burgers are made. And pretty much what you do is you just make all of the components individually, like, well, you always make the components individually, but like you take special care to make the beef look good and stuff. And I took some of the nicest looking bits of meat, or nicer looking bits of meat that we had, and I put them in the bottom, and then instead of doing the cheese like we'd usually done in the ring, which kept it together, we laid it on top. But immediately we had the issue that it didn't look the way the cheese looked in the, well, either photo shoot. Our cheese seemed to have like less integrity or less static force on it, so that it bent, and it just bent right on top of the meat. Whereas in the pictures they would take hot irons or gas burners to melt the cheese. Ours just sort of flopped right onto the meat. I don't know how we can change that. I guess it's just something we're gonna have to deal with, and it's not something good to deal with because it is just kind of frustrating. And all of our other parts, like the tomatoes and the onions and the lettuce, didn't stay on very well. They all had sort of this springiness, I guess, to them, so they wouldn't stay in the place we wanted them to be.
We also had a problem with the sauce because we wanted to have like little blobs kind of coming out of right under the bread, but we didn't have a syringe, so we kind of tried using a spoon, but that didn't work really well. Then we tried using a
toothpick.
Toothpick, exactly. And yeah, we couldn't get enough ketchup and yogurt sauce on that, so yeah, that didn't work either.
Both videos, they used syringes to apply the sauce, and we don't have any as of now because we didn't expect to make our final picture, and we didn't make our final picture. We just made a test of some of the things. Like, it wasn't even a practice final picture, I guess. We just tested some of the techniques, and yeah, we definitely did notice that we would need those syringes. They seemed to be quite a bit more important than we had expected. And yeah, we tested some of the other methods as described in the investigation to pictures, such as I mean, we discussed this last week, but such as the lettuce being in cold water, in ice water, to make it crisp. That definitely did change it. It made it look a lot better. Now I can see how melting the cheese with an iron, and just in general, the techniques seem to make a lot of sense now that we tried to do some of them. And we'll just have to be a lot more careful next time, like for our final picture practice. The
Final product didn't look the way we wanted it to.
The final product definitely didn't look the way we wanted it to. Everything was kind of soggy and not as perky as we had anticipated it to be. The tomatoes didn't stay. Even with toothpicks, it was hard to keep things in place. And just in general, things didn't work out or stay in the places we wanted them to. And that was quite a big issue. So moving on, we have now got our 3 pretty much just basic ideas for our movie. Well, not a movie, my bad, our advertisement. We did, let me just put this here. Yeah, we did a storyboard.
We have 3 basic ideas.
I mean, we don't have to show all of them, no,
okay,
because they're physically like available.
Yeah, and we'll show them our final.
Yeah.
Or the one we think we'll be taking.
The one we're pretty sure we're gonna take as a final. Reasoning first of all. It's got a theme, which is usually quite important. Like for the Mexican themed one, of course, it's gonna be Mexican themed because it's a Mexican themed burger. But themes made the videos kind of more funny and stuff. And more memorable, definitely. Pretty much ours is going to have a slightly more scientific premise. I'm just going to, I mean, we should not show this.
Okay, Discord shows. So this is basically what it looks like. So we drew a storyboard.
Patrick drew a storyboard.
I drew a storyboard. So basically, I'll explain it now. It's 7 quick pictures. And in, well, is that from Pokemon?
It was actually inspired by a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
Just to put that out there.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll basically start with 2 scientists in a room wearing like scientific cloak and like,
lab
these
coats.
Lab coat and these glasses. Exactly, and then a news reporter comes and asks like what they're doing, and they explain that they're exactly. So he asks what they're doing, and they tell him they're researching the fast food of 2013, and they show him it, and it's basically a machine with 3 boxes. So there's 2 here and 1 in the middle, and then one you put a burger, and the other one.
I'll bring up the picture from Pokemon at this point, which may sound kind of funny, but it just really describes kind of what this looks like with an extra box in the middle.
Okay, so there's the 2 boxes I said, and the tubes then go into the middle one, and you put a donut in one and a burger in the other, and then, yeah, they morph together
magically
to form the donut burger, which will be in the box in the middle. And then to end it, you see the burger, and then the news reporter eats it, talks a bit. Like, well, he probably does, no, okay, so you basically see him eat it, and then the logo comes, and it's done.
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, we can make this more dramatic in a number of ways. We can add fog to the burger, or any number of video filters.
Now, bad boy, are you ready for the bass? My DJ, yo, get on the case.